Let's find out and see what happens. Because Elazer has been playing pretty good lately. An Open Cup win last night will only add to his confidence, I'm sure, as we get this ready to rumble. It's going to be Elazer top right of 2,000 atmospheres, Trap bottom left of the same map, of course. As we again settle down into a little bit of PvZ action. And see our probe running up here and the drone passing by. Probe's going to show up and just go on a bit of a patrol around on this natural in the early few moments. So yeah, just getting that set up. How do you expect this series to go? Elazer has obviously always been a bit of an aggressive player in ZVP. But we're not really set up on, especially map 1, like a super aggressive map here, so it's something to kind of keep in mind as well. Yeah, like I say, I feel like Trap is feeling good lately. He didn't look good against Humoring yesterday, though, and I think, you know, he really made a lot of micro errors as well, and just kind of indecisions that aren't usually in Trap's play, so that part of it I was kind of skeptical about, but I'd be surprised if he showed up, you know, 2 days in a row looking like that, so obviously now is the time to turn it up a little bit and to level up. Prove as best as possible as get set up here, and Nexus and the Cybercore starting to build already, and that up and running. It's going to be seeing that Cybercore about to be done. Okay, it starts. Adept going to Chrono Boost. Zerg speed already on the way out here from Elazer as well. So again, that link speed up and rolling. As that probe just patrols back and forth a little bit. Pretty standard PvZ. Obviously, Elazer, that third hatch location, because the probe showed up early in the game. Everything just the way it's meant to be for now, guys. Hate to be Mr. Boring, but right now, we are just Mr. Boring. That gonna shade through a little bit as we get this underway. Void Ray is Chrono Boosting out, about halfway done. Just gonna see another gateway coming down as well. So all of this setting up. As our warp gate will be done in a few moments. The Adept about to finish. And with the Void Ray just coming in, at least seeing a Void Ray opening, we'll see if we want to go double Stargate. Obviously, there's a lot of different options off this Stargate style. So you really do have kind of a wide open path as to how you approach from here on out. As our warp gate finishes up, this Void Ray does grab an Overlord on the bottom side, so clearing that out already, and Elazer finding himself a little supply block. In fact, just needs those Overlords to finish up. Now, it was one Oracle already from the Stargate. Let's see what else comes through, as we do drop the Nexus pretty quick as well, though. With this Oracle to defend it, you're going to feel pretty confident nothing can cancel that. And yeah, we're kind of eyes on that Stargate. What's next, Trap? What we doing? What are we committing into right now? Second Void Ray starts, so looks like we are going to see a bit of Void Ray focus for the moment here from Trap. Now, some people have recently kind of mixed in that kind of one Stargate Void Ray play. Like, you make a few Voids off the one Stargate, and then you just do tech into that ground army, and there's a Forge, and there's a Twilight, so maybe that is what we begin to see here, as the Queens make sure the Oracle does not get up to too much mischief. Things running over, and they're just going to go for the chase down on these Adepts. The Adepts are going to threaten the Shade, so the Lings chase the Shade. They will obviously then not Shade. Plain and simple. Easy way to get that done. And yeah, the Twilight and the Forge still just finishing up soon. A couple of extra gates still coming in. Our Nexus just finished. And that Queen just going to put a bit more damage onto the Oracle once more. So continue to do a little bit more damage across the board here. And just going to be seeing our Lair still coming through. A few Lings putting their way or making their way down over here as a Lazer's going to pause. Has some lag. Just going to grab a quick drink. Look kind of funny. Just going to keep it here for a moment or two, guys, so we're just ready to go the moment that the game starts up again. Otherwise, sometimes it gets a bit funky. It's like, well, if I'm lagging, maybe if I drink more water, if I'm more hydrated, I won't lag in the future. Hopefully it doesn't start pouring on its PC. Like, maybe you need hydration. Fingers crossed. Alright, just wait a moment or two then, and hopefully this does not last too long. Looks as though we are resumed, in fact, and we've even got Queen's Fine Adepts as they've gotten into this natural. There's a couple of drones going down, and this Oracle is going to make its way around the bottom as well. So yeah, honestly just a couple of Void Rays, not even the 4 or 5 like I was suggesting could have been a thing. Just a couple of Void Rays into charge and +1, additional gates, and Archon's already coming through. Trap could turn this into a bit of an aggressive push if you'd like to. Early attack here is charge and +1 finish, get aggressive, see what you can get done, especially as a Laser starts up Aspire. You're already in a position where you can come across the map and really push and punish that. There is a 4th and 5th hatchery building, so double expanding a Laser here. If one base goes down, you've got the other. That's the 200 IQ play, right? So we'll see if that reigns true in this. As our Void Ray going to put some more damage onto that Overseer. Obviously just wants to try and deny that from coming up. Archons get here as well. Will he actually be able to get it? He re-targeted off of it a few times, so the Overseer will get to survive for a moment. But does actually still go down trying to get away. I kind of believed he was going to escape from that. Thought Trap had messed it up, but apparently not. Trap is pushing that right-hand side. I believe no prison currently supporting this army. So it's a little bit of a risky affair. You've got no micro on those Archons. The reinforcing Zealots did get caught up on a few Lings, but that was a fairly decent fight for them. And the start of this fight is pretty good too, as the Laser needs to come up with a defense. Stasis Ward. During this, the Laser just gets the target fire in time to make sure nothing more comes of that. Voidray gets all the way pushed back as our Zealot Archon will recollect together. And for the moment, a Laser shall survive without taking any further damage. So, good on a Laser, surviving for now. I see those few units of Trap pulling out down the bottom side a little bit. Everything collecting back together. A few more sentries warping in as well. We are just going to be seeing this army now. Going to go and jump on a set of rocks here. So just clearing out these rocks, opening up the map a little bit. Second Stargate and a Robobay coming through. Is that second Stargate because he's seen a Spire? He's adding cannons as well, so it sort of suggests he's at the point where he's at least accepting that Mutalisks are. If he hasn't seen it, then it's at least a possibility. The only thing that has me wondering is the fact that we haven't seen a single Phoenix start building yet. Well, now he knows for sure and he starts the Phoenix, so yeah, he's going to start that second Stargate too. Maybe he saw the Spire but didn't know if the Laser would then still commit, so he wanted to see the Mutas before he actually started building the Phoenix. Because if you start building Phoenix and then your opponent shows up with like a massive Roach Ravager force, no money spent on Mutalisks, you just run into a lot of trouble. You've seen that happen a whole bunch of times lately, where the ground army then just overwhelms, and 3 Phoenix show up to find they're like, oh, I'm gonna lift a Ravager, and everyone's looking around like, great, there's 10 more, you know. So these units are actually trying to pick up some reinforcements. That Immortal just about gets over to the left-hand side. There's a few drones getting picked up on the counterattacks. The Laser is getting some kind of openings, but I mean, this 4th Nexus Council, that's big. That's the best thing he's found so far. He's not really found probes yet, but now he will dive to the natural, where he will find probes. Cleans out that cannon, allows him to stick around here for longer, but the Zealots across the map are at least going to help Trap offset the damage that he's taking to these Mutalisks. And now a good amount of Phoenix up, so these Mutas are not going to be able to stick around like they were doing before. And if Trap pushes these away, can he just counterattack into like a really good position? Prism just got cleaned up now in the main base, but everything else coming over and straight on top of this hatchery, and Elazer is not likely to defend this. Obviously, the problem for Elazer is that just so much of his army is just Ling Muta, which is not good against Archons, etc. But he is going to dive in on this now. A few force fields coming down. The Phoenix show up as well. They are so important because you need to get rid of this Muta count ASAP to mean that the Archons just have to worry about the Roaches. Even lifting a few Roaches to help out here. Trap's supply is struggling a little bit, though. Can he keep this going? His Archons are low HP, and that means that he might be able to come back in with the Mutas Elazer, which he will, and those Archons are going down. Queen's from the other side as well. Everything from Trap being cleaned out. Now, it wasn't cheap for Elazer, but Trap doesn't have much army supply left after this, so maybe Elazer can continue to attack and be aggressive and continue to do very well here. This counterattack from Trap did not work out, and Elazer puts himself into prime position in this first game. Let's see if he can continue through. Of course, no fourth base from Trap. Elazer did lose one hatchery, but still has 5 bases of his own, or at least 5 hatcheries to work from. Not all of them saturated just yet, but the possibility of using them is there, and that's the important thing, that he has got them up and ready to use if needed, right? There's a few Zealots running by once more. Those are the best ways for Trap to buy himself some time and to cause some distractions, as the Banelings are well handled here initially as well. They'll deny some mining time, but nothing more. There's a lot of Phoenix, by the way, right now. So a lot of Trap's army supply is just in Phoenix. Elazer still has a good amount of Mutas on the map, hence he's going to make Corruptors to try and be the tanks for those Mutas and to give him a chance to actually fight against the Phoenix. But Trap is recovering from that army supply deficit. He's getting into a position he can stand alone and stand strong in. So I think he's going to be getting into a pretty happy spot. Oh, Zealots going in after drones. 7 workers going down. The Phoenix still trying to fight a few more Corruptors. Those Lings, Roaches, and Queens. They go chasing down Zealots as well. So a whole bunch of these Zealots are in some trouble. They will go down just about safe in this hatchery. Oh, the Phoenix going to find all the Mutas too. Well, that's the end of the Mutalisks. Do worry a little bit then about what comes out next, as 2 more Disruptors are still in production here. I mean, there's a good few Corruptors on the map, but the Phoenix have range, so in theory they can count these Corruptors forever. You don't actually have anything to necessarily help you out with that too much, and he's continuing to fight here. Trap trying to chip away at that Corruptor count. Meanwhile, it is still just Ling Roach on the ground, remember, so this ground army from Elazer silly and amazing. It isn't really teched up. It does have decent upgrades with the +2 melee. Of course, I say Ling Roach, there's Banes involved as well. It's a very typical kind of mid-game army. But for the game going later and later here, I really don't like it as much as Traps come into the middle of the map. As the Archon count gets high, you've got to wonder what exactly Elazer's response to that will be. He doesn't really have anything to fight against those still. You know, just low-tech units that hope to overwhelm more than trade effectively, so let's see if he can make it happen. He kept the 4th base down for a long time to be, give him a chance in this sort of situation. And Corruptors fly through to fight against the Phoenix. The Roaches are needing to stay away from those Disruptor shots. As the Banes finish up, they do roll through. Probes going down on the other side of the map during this, so there is more economic damage being done. Disruptor shot is well dodged by Elazer, to be fair. And these Roaches show up. There's another Disruptor, which he will get rid of before it fires. Now these Archons should start to drop off. Elazer prioritizing getting rid of the Disruptors, it seems. He will chase a little bit longer, and he will actually get all of the Disruptors from this attack. Some extra Zealots showing up, though, and we know that Zealots can create some issues. Being that little tanky front line really gives the Archons a bit of space to work with behind. As we are going to be seeing this army of Trap being chased all the way down, so Elazer going to come counter-attacking across the map once again. It's going to kill the Archon. Super Battery is up, but it was the Morphing Archon, so Super Battery won't heal it. It just died as it morphed, which was maybe unfortunate. A moment or two soon, and it maybe could have still survived. It's another little loss for Trap there as Elazer backs it up. He starts an infestation pit as Trap goes into blink. Trap has been fighting from so many... Like, Trap keeps fighting. Is like, oh crap, this army's not going to do it. Then he has to, like, rebuild and reset a little bit. It's been kind of an amusing affair so far, as you'll see this Roach Ravager force pulling back away from those Archons, trying to stay as safe as possible. A few of those Zealots already charging up into the top side, so a few drones going down. Flying these Banes straight into this base, and I mean, that's one thing Elazer has been very consistent with. He's never given up on his counterattacks. He's always had these run bys clashing in and doing damage, so that's a pretty big positive. Being able to do that pretty much all the way throughout this, so it is one of the reasons he's been looking good, because it's not like the probe count of Trap has been getting out of hand. He's definitely been able to control that a lot better than anything else. 14 more Zerg still on the way, then. It still feels like it's just such a low-tech army from Elazer without upgrades and so on. As this Archon count gets higher and higher, I again get worried for Elazer. I feel like he's done great, surviving a few times now. How much longer he can keep that up for? It was a good idea to try and split from the Disruptor, but just didn't quite cut it in the end there either. And this game was not looking good for Trap either, and it's just credit to Trap for being able to make a game out of this in the first place, honestly. He was really not looking too pretty when this all started out. Disruptor shot there will not land as the Corruptors are turned away by the Stalkers once more. Yeah, the rest of this army continues to settle down as well. A few additional Banes going to morph in. The Roach Ravager Bane then will all collect together. Looks as though Elazer will go for a push down to that bottom side base. Observer does sit overhead. I mean, Elazer's army is now equal army supply with Traps, and I feel like that's something we haven't seen before. And okay, Elazer has a bit more tech in this army than before, but that wasn't it. Yeah, but it just sort of means that maybe this time Elazer's army isn't going to work out. And now Void Rays are being made. He has double Stargate, and you know what? There ain't really anything to deal with Void Rays, right? As once again, Elazer is focused on trying to get pros more than anything else. That's a cute little detonation for a couple of extra there. Now he will try and roll to this bottom side base, which Trap, okay, just now paid attention to, but those probes, uh-oh, whoa, no, why did we move away? Observer, we wanted to see the probes all die. I know this fight's about to happen, but those probes are like a second away from getting blown up. Oh my god, as the Banes are going to initiate over here, the Roach Ravager Bane is going to come through, and a couple of Crows of Vals going down. It's just not enough right now from Elazer, but he is rebuilding. He is rebuilding. I mean, these Void Rays are still an issue as well. He needs to get these Queens in play to help out. Disruptor shot going to hit big. Nope, denied before it fires. Once again, Trap's tech units are gone, and this time his economy behind this really is gone as well. There are only 33 probes left in this game. I think Trap is going to have to come to the conclusion now that this is pretty much going to be over. Trap looks dead, guys. I mean, it took Elazer a long time to finish this off, but he will get the job done eventually. He will get the job done eventually. Good effort. So yeah, just gonna say, I mean, Elazer now maxed out for the first time in what feels like forever. I don't even know if he got maxed out this game because it has been so many consistent trades. Yeah, but Trap just, you can't really max off that 33 worker count. He's rebuilding his probes, etc. It's gonna be, you know, he is not gonna go down without a fight. And he really made this game a fight in the first place because this does not look good for him at all. Trap not having a great event just yet. Of course, still time for him to recover. You win this series still possible, but yeah, definitely not having. I think a lot of people looked at this group and said, yeah, Trap's actually got a really, you know, obviously, I think Trap will be very happy with this group, but now Elazer is going to be 1-0 up against him in the elimination match. I mean, that, my friends, is kind of wild. 15 probes going down, the Bane's still connecting, the Ravager's moving through. Bunch of roaches over here. 16 probes go down as well. 17. Lots of damage still, guys. I mean, Trap is literally on no economy now as he's still trying to fight out this army. He might actually get the cleanup on this. And then Elazer will have to rebuild and go again, but that's the thing. He can rebuild and go again, of course. Part of his army over here killing off bases, so... yeah, Elazer still just needs to clear this army up one more time because he has finally put Trap on basically 0 income. Just need one more fight. We just haven't had it yet. Haven't had it yet. Pro's going down. Stalkers and Voids are going to hit those roaches. Oh, Pro's still dropping off. Next is going down. Disruptor shot fires. Roaches do hit as well. I mean, that's going to be one more disruptor denied. Trap really is kind of on his last legs. I mean, he does not give up, though, does he? He will fight and fight and fight. As long as he has to. GG. Elazer wins game number 1, but geez, had to put in a lot of work to finally get there. After he had a really good start, he had some good cleanups, just... he struggled to finish off this game. That guy 99, thank you so much for the 27-month resub. Appreciate it. 40, are you a Twitch partner? I would hope so. You can see if someone's a Twitch partner because they just have the tick next to their channel name. I guess it's a verified tick, is it? But it's like that's like a partner tick. You get it if you're a partner, basically. Next game coming up. Elazer leads 1-0 here against Trap. Hey, Mr. Montalvo, thank you so much for the 2-month resub on the Prime as well. Very, very much appreciate it, mate. Thought it was verified? Yeah, well, verified his partner, basically. Been a Twitch partner for casual 7 years. 8 years, I think, actually. I'm an OG Twitch partner. I got partnership before you got a subscription button with being a partner. So when I first became partner, I couldn't actually, when I first became Twitch partner, I didn't have a sub button. I had to request a sub button specifically. Like a year or 2 later. So yeah, I'm in what they call an OG Twitch partner, I suppose. Yo, Pakin Tokaju, thank you so much for the generosity. 3 gifted subs coming out. So just a young Kappa. Based Secretary for the 3-month resub, and a 3-month resub to Azure Blazer as well. Azure Blazer, thank you so much for the generosity of gifting out some subs. Trap looks so weak today and yesterday. Not quite the Trap I was expecting to show up to the tournament, I gotta agree. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if he's weak, but... I don't know if weak's the word that I want to use, basically, but... yeah, it's definitely not been super pretty, has it? This is best of 3, guys. Winner is going to play Hero Marine in the decided match. The loser is out of the tournament. That's it, done. Finish. We do not continue. So yes, Trap is 1 map away from elimination here. He just killed a drone. Wow. That's different. He killed a drone with the probe. But I have to say that to myself a couple times over, because when was the last time have you guys I don't know if I've ever seen a drone die to a probe in that situation, actually. That's kind of absurd. That's actually very absurd like that. I can't quite believe it. I'm like pinching myself. Did that just happen? Ow. Ow. Yeah, I'm awake. Okay. If a drone can kill its own hatchery, nothing is impossible. Yeah, well. Let's not talk about that one. God, that was a hilarious situation. That was on Base Trade TV back in the day. Do 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 do. It's a void ray again. I've got the music in my head from the break. The Adepts show up, and Elazer has to run the drones around, so it's quite a bit of lost mining time, and the Adepts obviously survive. So Trap will be okay with that. That's essentially just free damage he gets to gain right there. This Void Ray does shot down the Overlord. The Overlord going down. See, there's a couple of Adepts of Trap still moving around on the left-hand side, so setting up for that. Plenty of drones coming up from Trap here as he actually brings this Void Ray across to put a bit of damage out there. Is it going to be having plenty of drones now on the way up, finally breaking free, getting an Overlord ready. And Trap just coming through as well. Next Void Ray starting, second Stargate on the way. So far, so good in that regard. Plenty of units out over from that natural expansion, and it's going to be seeing a couple of Adepts of Trap moving down to the bottom right as well. They're going to shade in. They're going to go after a couple drones here to begin with. 2 drones already dead. Make that 3, 4, 5. I'm going to stop counting. 5 workers going down. That's actually really nice with the Adepts. Just finally getting in there and getting some real damage done. Again, double Stargate Void this time. So different to the last game. Remember, last game we just made 2 Void Rays and then we went into that ground army. This time we're going to make a good amount of Void Rays as these Adepts will hold the wall. Bowling is going to trade with it, but I mean, as soon as you kill it, it's just going to be another warp in behind, right? So Elazer knows it's not worth continuing through with that at all. More drones going down. Denies the 4th base as Elazer can't quite seem to keep things intact at the moment, so it's definitely hurting just a little bit as when you have this Void coming around, swinging through and trying to get a little bit more done as well. Oracle drops in a Revelation. Those drones get caught up in it. Did you see a Baneling Nest and a Hydra Den coming down behind the natural expansion? So there's going to be getting all of that up and running at the moment. Void's coming through. They are looking pretty good as well right now. Battery comes in on the 4th base location. Just gets that up and rolling. The Void's still coming through as well. I'm going to put some damage out, and this Overlord is going to go down right now. So Overlord gets caught, going to get killed. Overlord cleaned up pretty much just immediately there as again Disruptor now on the way through, and an additional Stargate is going to start up as well. So all this coming up right here is our Queen's going to push our Voids back over to the left-hand side. Again, everything starts to settle down once again. Don't like how many drones Elazer's lost, right? He really has lost quite a bit just building up to this point. Third Stargate in that fleet peak, and we are just going to be seeing a real commitment to Sky. So you're going to see some Disruptors being brought into play. But then behind that, it really is just going to be like a lot of air units. So very safe with the Disruptors, and that allows them to maybe get into this air tech or Skytoss tech that little bit sooner. That's what I would imagine this plays out as. Showing up as well. I'm just going to push those Void Rays back. As we see a couple of Disruptors moving through as well. A couple of additional Zealots just going to warp in. And those few Zerglings taking quite a bit of damage right now. Again, this next is just going to be setting up on the 4th base as the Hydras come through. They're going to go in after those rocks. And more units of Elazer still just kind of settling down in the center. Overlord's going to be revelated there, so just keeping an eye on those. And there's our carriers building up. I mean, can Elazer make a timing happen before carriers get to an, an undoable amount or an unsustainable amount? Can't get to the right words. until they get to an unkillable amount, right? Like, can you hit this when the Hydras are still good, basically? That's the question. A couple of these Hydras walking through. I'll say, just in general, I think sloppy is the word for Elazer. He's lost a lot of drones this game. Now a few units going down. It's going to be very difficult to make a tight timing like this work out with all of those losses that we've seen up until this point. We're going to stasis warded up at the front. Everything else coming in here. Ling's going to run through. I just putting some damage in. The Zealot's in a bit of trouble. Disruptor shot fires and lands on a bit of Ling Hydra as well. So a little bit more Ling Hydra going down. Additional Banelings warping in or morphing in right now. It's another revelation as the Disruptor shot flies. Hits a couple Hydras. For the moment, that will be it. Gonna go fighting. I mean, obviously these Interceptors start to go down. Question is, can you get rid of the Interceptors fast enough to give the Hydras a chance to fight everything else? I mean, the Void Rays are staying safe, pulling back to the battery. Super Battery just now activating, so you've got a good bit of life on the Super Battery. Biggest issue really is just going to be the fact is actually the Super Battery goes down, the Bane's busted it. There's just no carriers left anymore. New Disruptors though, and now the Queens show up. Disruptor's going to get rid of 4 Queens, quadruple kill. My goodness, and now a Disruptor to the right side gets a massive connection on Hydras as well. This just is not working out for Elazer. He is losing so much and gaining so very little. It looks as though that is just going to be a game ender, my friends. I think that is just going to be this one wrapping up. Damn. Good hold from Trap. The Disruptors on those Queens, getting 4 Queens all at once is just fantastic, right? I mean, that does so much for you. Obviously, he's being chased around. We do have Hydra's going to be caught in a revelation. Disruptor shot fires, but will not connect. Look from the rest of those Hydras coming up and trying to give chase. The next stasis ward goes down once again. The Overseer gets picked up. And here come our few Banelings is going to trundle on forwards. Try and counterattack in for some damage. They get a couple cannons, but cannons are fine. Obviously, you just don't want to be losing probes. Looks like Trap will just instantly rebuild them. As he really does. Secure a pretty serious advantage in this game right now. That is for sure. Disruptor, Carrier, Void Ray. Going up in the center of the map, all these Hydras of Elazer. Gonna move around the top side, and the Carriers are gonna start firing through. The Queen's going down. As the Banes got over to the left-hand side, and about 4 probes get picked off here. 5 probes go down. Which Carrier continues to move out over to the far right. Gonna see the Carrier's gonna start to launch in, and gonna see the Ling Hydra Force getting pushed away pretty much immediately, so good amount of that just getting chased away for the moment. Storm is halfway done. With that charge also about to complete, the additional air weapon upgrade coming through, and a +1 attack upgrade. Also starting up right now as a few of these Banes get picked away at. Those few Lings kind of just making their way into the natural, going to go through for the probes. Going to start getting a few of them, so not a bad counterattack. Meanwhile, these boys are just like, oh, a hatchery. That's nice. I always like killing, finding a hatchery on my morning run. Kill that off. Yep. Voids probably should have cancelled their prismatic to get away, but they'll get away anyways, so no actual issue there. How did that hatchery just go down? That hatchery just like... there was just nothing there. There's nothing in sight that could possibly defend it. It's kind of crazy, actually. I was not expecting that to die just... no shot. It just died so nonchalantly, right? It was just like, one moment it's there, the next moment it's gone. Jeez. Everything moving around in the center. We still got kind of Ling Hydra out to the far left. Gonna push forward. The first cannon in a bit of trouble, already getting taken down. At the same time, Trap's going straight across the map, so Trap obviously feels comfortable base trading. He has a lot of stacked defense of his own that's at least going to hold the Elazer up a little bit. And obviously I think he's got an army that can probably just kill off a few bases and then recall home and eventually defend. So yeah, it feels pretty good for our boy Trap right now. Now, don't get me wrong, obviously Elazer's doing some damage as well. Just at the end of the day, what this essentially does is it puts you onto one army each, right? If you fully base trade with each other, you basically just get to the point where neither of you can rebuild very much. So if you only have one army each, as these Hydras do a great job, by the way, killing the Voids. One army each here, I say that favors Trap a little bit. Let's see if that is true, as these Hydras now getting chased away by Interceptors. Seems like Elazer agrees he can't win this just yet. He is going to find a lot of army in the middle, so the recall apparently wasn't perfect. Disruptors kind of miss. Uh-oh. Trap does finally get some Disruptor shots to land. I mean, this was nice for Elazer. He actually finds a lot of Trap's army. I mean, that was massive for Elazer. If there was ever a way to start turning this around, that might have been it. As Elazer still does have some hatches up the right-hand side. So the Storm or two coming down. That was the last Neural Parasite, though. I think Trap's army is still probably good enough. He is storming once again, kind of on top of Interceptors. Obviously aiming for those Hydras. An Archon or two morphing, and Elazer's supply will keep on dropping. He cannot fight this. He cannot make it work. GG's. And we are tied up 1-1 in this best of 3. I'm just going to run a quick 2-minute ad break. I'm going to go grab myself a quick drink. So I'll see you guys in a sec for our next game. A third decided map between Elazer and Trap to see who is eliminated. With what we've seen so far, we could really just see something similar once again. Jagger, another map where you can kind of take those bases. You can play Skytoss if you want to. Elazer and Trap. Elazer will be bottom left. Trap will be top right of Jaggernatha to go into this final map. Winner of this will play Hero Marine afterwards. Elazer is obviously out of the competition. Just a quick reminder that we will cast some OSC matches today. We'll be casting some OSC mid-season playoffs today. We'll just be doing those. Basically, I'm going to be streaming for 5 hours in total. So whenever this tournament wraps up for the day, we'll just move in and do as much OSC as possible for our allotted time. And then wrap it up. And yeah, just want you guys to know, basically, we got more Starcraft coming your way instead of just... It's not just the next event, right? There is more than just the next event. Spawn and pool. Gets going. There's a hatchery coming through about halfway done. A couple of drones on the way out. And those up and rolling. And a drone just going to pop out. A couple of drones just going to pop out into an extractor there. Going to mine away. I'm going to nibble at that probe, so a bit of damage being done. Cybercore is going to be finishing very soon. And the Nexus is about halfway done as well. Just waiting to see if Trap wants to open with the Stargate once again, as he has been doing each game so far. Obviously, two different ways of playing that Stargate, from double Stargate to just a double Void into a faster ground army. We really have had a good mix of things up until this point, so... yeah. My biggest question is, does Trap mix it up again, or is he just kind of happy to continue on, right? I was going to see how Gate then is going to be boosting that depth. Here comes our Stargate once more. Let's see what Trap does with it. I'm going to stay alive. Of course, with Trap, it would be, for both these players, would be a rematch against Marine in some respect. For Trap, for this rematch from yesterday, where he obviously got knocked down to this lower bracket of the group. For Elazer, it would be a rematch against that, from that Grand Finals of the ESL Open Cup, which we had last night, that Elazer became victorious in, which is very exciting. A lot of adepts just waddled down to the low ground. Bottom side here moving in. Not going to see the reason to commit. Link speed up. Feelings in the main. What's going to be Trap? Another 4-minute third base. So pretty fast on base number 3. Not messing around there at all. Oracle checks in. Sees not much is going on that third base. Checks out. Left his door key in the... Door key... What do you even call that when you check out of a hotel? The door key deposit box? I don't know how to call that, actually. Good job, Wardy. Bringing in analogies or jokes that you don't understand yourself. 10 out of 10. Killing it. Ray is going to come back around to the bottom side again. Stargate going to be finishing up soon here from Trap, that robot facility. Not far from being done either. I'm just going to double Void Ray it up for the moment. So Void Rays are on their way. What does Elazer do this time around? Last game, I really felt like he had a bit of a weak start. Adepts got in, dealt a bunch of damage. Just felt a little bit messy. And just felt like he never really had a proper time to take down those carriers. I mean, he had one big push, but it felt like he'd lost so much and was so weakened by it before then that it didn't really work out. Void Ray does get creep teamer number 1 and now creep teamer number 2. Void Ray still coming down to the bottom right. It's just gonna go away at this hatchery, so hatchery taking some shots. Void Ray going to prismatically align and just try and nibble through the 4th. I mean, any damage you do to this now does make it easier to pick off a bit later in the game, right? So there's absolutely value to getting some damage done on that already. Stargate is still on its way up. As the Void's going to activate to the bottom right-hand corner. Going for that hatch. I mean, hatchery is just going to die unless you transfuse it. No transfuse, but does step the Queens to not kill the Void Ray. So even one Void Ray gets away. Oh no, Elazer doesn't even get the bare minimum out of defending this. Trap doing the exact same thing as last game. Disruptive production into a 3rd Stargate and a fleet beacon. Basically just make sure it's difficult for Elazer to push into him as he goes into carriers. It's a good game plan. It works pretty well. Works very well, in fact. See Queens continue to move around the bottom right. A couple more creep teamers going down. Creep spread just going to go pushing forward. Yeah, Nexus from Trap on the 4th base. Just getting that start already. And a couple of pylons going to come through. It's already just getting that set up as 4 more Infestors coming out. Oracle is going to drop down the Revelation on the Queens. And our carrier production, friends, is on the freaking way. One queen already goes down. Other queen's still in a bit of trouble. Chasing, getting a 2nd queen now. 2 queens get picked off right off the bat. As these overlords are going to keep on moving around a little bit, infestors spawning out of the main base in the natural. Rest of those Void Rays are going to go push in from the right, so that's going to actually take a fight you don't really want to take here. So Trap recalls, does lose 1 Void Ray, so finally Elazer gets a bit of revenge. Ultra's Cavern is going to be done as Elazer just kind of wants more of a ground force, I suppose, to try and push around with. So the Ultras are an interesting choice because Ultras kind of play a pretty nice role in kind of later game armies. Right now, I'm just not sure that Elazer has much of a later game army. Like, right now, I feel like Elazer needs more before he goes into Ultras, so yeah, I mean, the Ultras just feel almost a little bit too soon to me, right? A little bit too, you know, they're before their time, basically. The Ultras are great in longer fights because they can clean out a ground army if you don't have the right stuff on the ground. You're going to lose your kind of, you know, High Templars, your Storms, your Disruptors, and then you're going to start losing bases because you don't have a way to clean them up because it takes a long time for the air units to clean up the Ultralisks. So in that regard, it all sounds great, right? But now... well, now there's a, now there's just not... I mean, I guess the idea still applies. If there's nothing on the ground, the Ultras can still do more, but you still need something to deal with the Sky Army at the same time, which I guess we're kind of on the way to. Yeah. I suppose I don't hate it. It just felt a bit too soon for those Ultras. Felt like, you know, like the Vipers, for example, maybe should have come through first. Anyway. I'll see. Queens and Ultras joining up together on that bottom left-hand side as Carrier and High Templar and Disruptors move around the right. Let's see where they can get to. Lizard's going to launch an attack to the upper left. Well, Chuck is going to warp in a defense here for his 5th base. The Ling's going to start to wrap around. Ultras do move up the ramp as the Void's already putting some damage on them. Activating too. Well, that's not how you use the Ultralisks. That's not how they're going to be very useful. And meanwhile, Trap's just like, cool. Start up the Storm upgrade. Get that ready to go. Just going to be getting that ready as a couple of High Templars are going to morph into Archons. And you have the Ultras again settling up and down on this bottom side. So Ultras just heading on the bottom left. The Lings joining up together as well. All of these creep teams are still coming through and just going to have our Viper Corruptor Force over to the right. Now we do have plenty from the Elazer still settling up and thinking about making a bit of a push forward perhaps. Those Void Rays are going to come down the left-hand side, so they're going to go flying. See where they can end up. Couple spores already firing up, and again, those Voids just going to have to back away for the moment. Just going to have to hold back. And the cannons coming into play as the Ultras start to swipe down a couple of these batteries. Ling's coming through as well. It's going to jump in on top of a few more of those cannons. The probe's going down also. There's going to be a pretty neat cleanup here from Elazer on some of the eco and the SAG defense, but look how much it's going to cost him. These Ultras go down, these Lings go down. I understand that he's obviously got kind of a bit of eco to spare right now, right? But like, yeah, he's got a bit of eco to spare right now, but like, it's not like he's got a ton of eco to spare. Like, I mean, that just didn't really do anything. I don't know. It just feels as though this is a... It just feels as though Elazer's a little bit lost as to what to do. He obviously knows that what he did last time didn't work, so he's trying to make it, you know, into this larger army in this later game situation. Guess let's see if it really does maybe start working out now. Broodlords are going to start lavering these High Templar and Broodlings. The Broodlings actually putting in some work right now, but what's going to kill the carriers again? Like, Queens? There's just no anti-air. I just don't get it. Like, a fungal growth comes down. Elazer just doesn't have anything to actually, like, why are there so many Broodlords and just nothing to deal with the air units? Like, a fungal or so? I mean, that's just so unreliable. Like, I don't know. I feel like, okay, now the spores are coming around. It feels like all of this is just way too late. Obviously, this fight happened way away from so many of these spores. Okay, now you turn around here as Trap, and you're a little bit more concerned. He's gonna recall. Did he need a recall there? Could he have just kept on fighting? I feel like he could have killed Corruptors as they came in, but maybe he, I guess, doesn't maybe have Void Rays at the moment, so wants to kind of just back it up a bit. I mean, Elazer lost a lot, and Elazer's just down on supply without money to spend to get that supply back, so it does not look good for him in the slightest just yet. It just feels as though Elazer just was never ready to fight the air army. Now we see a bunch of Corruptors join the fray. You know, and that's great and all, but yeah, I mean, where were they before? Right? They needed to be here sooner, quite frankly. At the end, they just needed to be here before this point. It really is kind of as simple as that, I think. On the right side, hatchery is just about surviving. 8 drones going down. Corruptors, the Viper, the few Infestors all join up together. And join everything back up over on the left then. Well, I mean, we do have a an army of Elazer now that at least looks a bit better, but of course, this has all just been his rebuild, and Trap has just been maxed out this entire time. He's now got DTs moving around. He's just going to slowly look to work his way through some of these Elazer bases. DT gets chased out of there. Oh, that grip continues to just drop down. I mean, obviously nice for Trap to take some map control back. He's done a great job behind all of this. Just 6 bases, looking very comfortable in base count, right? Just never really... Just not something that anyone's really concerned about. And, you know, if you're a Trap fan, his economy's been great. The few times that Lazer's been aggressive, his attacks onto that economy has just not really been successful at all. They haven't really led to anything, so... Yeah. Army's still pushing around. A bunch of these group teamers will be dropping. Corruptor force from Elazer kind of wants to think about jumping on the army, doing counterattack. There's only one base Trap hasn't taken yet. It's also a base Elazer hasn't taken on his own side of the map, so Elazer wants to make sure Trap doesn't get set up there. Sets down the stack defense. Good to see if the unit's already over there. Definitely the right idea. Things come in, Nexus gets cancelled. Next on the Prowler just going to be building up then. More of these Broods going to head across to the far right hand side. Revelation goes down and it's just going to hit onto Corruptors, a few Vipers. I love this. It's going to be a recall into the main base. And he's, with this recall into the main base, he's then going to kill off what he can, and then he can obviously just recall out via the Nexus, because the Mothership recall in does not share the recall out he's going to use via the Nexus. So, yeah, cute little play from Trap, just dives into the main, shuts down a bunch of the tech, the Hive going down. Elazer instantly has to restart that. I mean, everything is here. Spire, Greater Spire, Ultra Cav, and G's. That ain't good, is it? I mean, Elazer just lost so much of this tech, and now, I mean, hasn't even been any contest to this, so maybe these carriers could even continue to harass elsewhere before we see the recall home. Let's see, he's going to stack everything up. Nope, is just going to recall. Doesn't want to push his luck, right? Doesn't want to stick around for too long. He left the mothership behind, though. The Corruptors, they know it's there. They're going to go get it. Mothership is going to be hunted, and our mammoth ship's going to fall, guys. I know, sad faces all around, but sometimes we got to accept the losses in life. As we'll be seeing these spores now under attack on the right side. So as the Corruptors chase to the left side, the main army of Trap now just moves to the right. And Fast is going down. We do see the rest of these Corruptors showing up. These Spore Crawls continuing to fall. A lot of abducts in. Looks like those couple of carriers shouldn't really last too much longer here. Rest of these Zealots all going to be coming through too. It's just going to be aiming up for those drones. Just going to be looking at that one. And yeah. Another carrier going down. The Broodlord's still advancing forward. This little Corruptor force is going to be coming in as well. Still trying to see what else can be done. How's that Broods and that Corruptor's going to be fighting? I mean, honestly, Trap not kind of holding on here as I thought he would. He's got so many units elsewhere on the map, though, so that's kind of the reason why. Elazer and Trap both have money to spend, as these Zealots are just working through base after base at the moment. Trap does have a supply lead. Elazer, of course, doesn't have any production, right? Losing the Spire, the Greatest Spire, the Ultra Cavern. He can't build anything useful at the moment, so even if he has money, he can't actually rebuild, and that's where Trap supply is going to be rising up. The question is, does he have the supply to fight, or, you know, does he have what he needs to fight those Corruptors, etc.? Well, making 5 Void Rays, now 5 Archons, I would suggest that Trap does kind of have what is needed to kind of build up the right kind of army here at the very least. Man, Trap really struggling today, though. Nothing's been clean and simple, has it? Today and yesterday. Looks like we're going to be okay then. As those Broodlords are going to fire, those Zealots are going to get chased away. Elazer just, I mean, cleaning up, but again, Trap just replacing this supply with much better stuff. Elazer does start 7 and fastest. Could they make a difference in this upcoming fight? Possibly. It's obviously going to be a help. Are they going to be the game changers? Is what I want to know. Tough one, isn't it? Here we go. We're going to find out in a moment or two. Trap's going to come pushing on down. Going to take this base out pretty much immediately. Fastest get, well, nope. They're not going to do anything, guys. That was brutal. Fastest just rallied the wrong way. Bad click for them. And now the Voids are just going to activate Prismatic, and this is not close. The Elazer is eliminated, and Trap will advance to rematch from yesterday against Hero Marine. Like I say, if Trap plays like this and how he played yesterday, Hero Marine's going to win that series. It's just a given, I think. So, yeah. Alright, GG's. GG's.